Yo, welcome back to KAMMA. I'm Khalil Deal.
I'm Andy O.
And we are back after a nice little week off. We're back to talk about UFC Vegas 107, also known as UFC on ESPN 68. So this is going to be Erin Blanchfield versus Macy Barber, the main event of this card. Quick recap, man. 2 weeks ago on the last card, UFC Vegas 106, me and Andy O did really, really well. We both went 8-3 out of the 11 fights. We also lost a fight in that one. And also the betting went super well. We cashed on a lot of bets and made some profit.
Great return on investment.
Yeah, baby. Let's hope to do it again this week. So we're going to talk about our early predictions and breakdowns for the prelims. And we're going to talk about who's in the prelims. We got the first fight, Rayan Dos Santos versus Alice Ardalian. Then we got Markel Medeiros against Bolagioki. Then we got Andreas Gustafsson against Officer Trevin Giles. Then we got Jordan Levitt against Kurt Hollabaugh. And the main event of the prelims, Alan Nascimento against Jafel Filo. So without further ado, we're going to start it off with the first fight here, which is Rayan Dos Santos against Alice Ardalian. Andio, set it off first, man. Who you got in this one, bro?
Yeah, glad to be back and glad to start off fresh with a barn burner here between Rayan Dos Santos and Alice Ardalian. What to say? I like the fact that Rayan Dos Santos seems to be more of a finisher with her 8 subs. Okay? This shows me she's more of a threat. Alice Ardalian hasn't shown much lately. Like, she can do a little bit everything, but like everything not too well. If you take a closer look at Rayan Dos Santos' record here, like both the records are pretty shitty. Rayan Dos Santos is a bit better, but within her last,
A lot better, I would say. I mean, 9-7 to 14-8 is a lot better.
but to go along with that, since 2021, I've noticed that she's 7-3 against, better opposition, but all of those losses have also been by decision, right? So she hasn't been getting finished or anything like that. So give me the more aggressive Rayan Dos Santos to get the win here in this fight.
Yeah,
By a submission or decision. But I gotta say, I don't want to go to decision even against Alice Ardalian because both these girls have a lot of decision losses between them.
yeah, I agree, man. So for this one here, I am also in agreement, man. I got to go with Rayan Dos Santos, man. Rayan Dos Santos, her fighting style consists of boxing and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. She's very, very good at submissions. She's won 14 of her 20 professional fights, with 8 of those victories coming by way of first round submission. So she's got way better jiu-jitsu than Alice Ardalian. Her ground game is very, very good. Alice Ardalian's a pure striker. Okay, she tried to get better in her skills in smaller promotions like in Battle Arena before she got in the UFC. She's known for her determination and ability to push through tough opponents, but her ground game is weak. It's not good. Her takedown defense is terrible, and we've seen Alice Ardalian get taken down in her in a lot of her fights. And Rayan is good at takedown, so I like that right there. The fact that Alice Ardalian has lost five of her 7 losses have come by decision, and 2 of them by submission. So that's already right there. She loses a lot of decisions and loses also by submission. And Rayan has very good submissions and has also won 4 decisions out of her 14 wins and 8 subs. Okay, only 2 knockouts there. The last fight that Rayan Dos Santos was in against Pooja Tumar, I thought that was absolute bullshit. It was a pure robbery. They gave the fight by split decision to Pooja Tumar, who did nothing but stupid leg kicks. It looked absolutely horrible, that fight. I remember having Rayan Dos Santos in that fight, and I was so pissed off at the robbery. She should have won that fight. She did way better, more damage, and outstruck Pooja in that fight.
I don't really remember that, but I can't believe it. I'm pretty sure I picked Dos Santos in that fight, right?
We both did, and she
And
lost for pure robbery.
But I'm sure I didn't believe it then either. So
Yeah, and then she lost a split decision to Talita Alencar as well. So both of those her losses went by split decision. Her two losses in the UFC, and Alice Ardalian, her losses in the UFC, well, a split decision to Shauna Bannon and a unanimous decision to Melissa Martinez. So definitely like the fact that Rayan dos Santos is the better fighter, has the better record. Alice Ardalian's not that good at fighting at all. Rayanne's got submissions, better jiu-jitsu. She's also younger too, at 29 years old compared to 33 for Alice. But the height and reach are pretty much the same. So in this one, I like Rayan dos Santos to get the win by submission or decision. I think it's live here that she wins in that in those either by sub or decision. Seeing as though Alice, all of her losses are by sub or decision. So no brainer there. So we're in agreement with the first fight. Like it. Let's get to the next fight here. Markel Medeiros against Bolaji Oki. So for this one here, man, this is going to be a very good fight. I think this should be a banger of a fight. This should be very, very good. Markel Medeiros, this guy is a fast rising UFC lightweight from Texas. He's known for his explosive striking, his fast pace. He's got a good fighting, a sharp fighting IQ. He's built a reputation as one of the division's most promising athletes. He tries to be excellent. He's got a commitment to growth in the cage. He fights not only to win but to evolve. He's very focused, disciplined, and he's an all-around, well-rounded fighter. Bolaji Oki is more of an aggressive style kickboxer and striker. He's very athletic. He's very strong. He's got power in his hands. He's got great knockout power. He's a busy striker with good jabs and lots of power. He likes to pump the jab to set things up and then explode the combinations when he finds openings. He's also got very good takedown defense, and he can also, with very fast sprawls, and he's got solid takedowns of his own. I'm going to slightly lean here on Bolaji Oki to get the win here, and the reason why is I feel that Bolaji Oki just has that grappling advantage. Markel Medeiros is still working on it, but he has been taken down, and his takedown defense, he's still working on it. So the fact that Bolaji Oki can wrestle, he's got more of a better ground game, I find, and better takedowns, plus that power that he has in his hands. I got to go with Bolaji Oki. Not to mention also he's going to have a significant 4.5-inch reach advantage. So that's going to be a huge advantage for Bolaji, especially with that power. He can just keep his distance and nail Markel Medeiros with some hard punches. And Markel Medeiros likes to keep himself open a lot. I find he gets hit a lot when he fights. So I think that's going to be to Bolaji's advantage there. That split decision win that he got over Austin Hubbard, I remember that fight. It was very, very close. Austin Hubbard took him down a few times in that fight and could have won that fight. Also, the Landon Quinones fight was a good fight there. Bolaji, though, in his UFC debut, he beat Timothy Kwamba by split decision, but then he lost to Chris Duncan. He was winning the fight that whole time, but he got caught in that guillotine. It was just an unfortunate where he kind of did a bad move and got caught in the guillotine, but he was beating up Chris Duncan and would have won that fight if it wasn't for that. So I'm going to go with Bolaji Oki. I think he wins by knockout or decision. What about you, Andio?
yeah, with if Medeiros was more of a grappler, I give him a better shot to beat Bolaji Oki here and sneak in a sub like Duncan did, because I think it would be better if he were able to stay away from like a battle that's on the feet with Bolaji Oki, while Medeiros may have a little more skill overall on the feet. Like this is probably going to be a stand-up battle, but what I think is going to win it for Oki is just he's going to be too physical. He's the better athlete, and I don't know if you mentioned this, but he's also going to have a 4.5 reach advantage here.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I just don't see Medeiros sneaking in a sub like that. I don't see him contending with what I mentioned in Oki on the feet in the long run. I think the power is going to end up being a little too much in the end. So give me Oki by decision or knockout.
All right, so we're in agreement with the first two fights of the prelims. All right, let's get to the next fight here. We got Officer Trevin Giles, known as The Problem, against Andreas Gustafsson, a.k.a. Bane.
As usual, the problem with Trevin Giles here is that Officer Giles isn't going to have backup with him in this fight either in the cage. I don't know if he's working with the Force now or not working with the Force. He seems to go back and forth, towards the level of commitment, I think, to fighting or the Force. So no one really knows what's going on that end. But in this case, Andres Gustafsson has been training for a while now, okay? Uh, for a guy that's actually pretty similar to Trevin Giles, a guy that's well-rounded, a guy that can, shoot for takedowns and maybe get one or two takedowns like Officer Giles can. But at the same time, uh, it's a 1 week notice for Officer Giles here, very short, um, and he is half decently well-rounded. But I think Gustafsson's going to stop those takedowns, and he's going to have more cardio in the whole fight. And I picture a knockout or a knockout or decision for Gustafsson in the end here. I don't think Officer Giles cut out for this fight by himself.
Yeah, man. So this fight was originally supposed to be Andreas Gustafsson against Jeremiah Wells.
Did I say it with Jeremiah Wells? Or I just had a guy who was almost like him.
Yeah, Jeremiah Wells. Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, yeah, Jeremiah Wells, yeah.
Yeah, and Jeremiah Wells withdrew from the fight, so Trevin Giles stepped it up to get in here and fight Gustafsson on short notice. So already that's not a good look for Trevin Giles coming in here on short notice. Also, Trevin Giles is on a 3-fight losing skid here, so he's fighting for his job here. Lost to Gabriel Bonfim by submission. He got knocked out by Carlos Prates and lost a unanimous decision to Mike Malott. Now, we'll start with Trevin Giles. He's very athletic. He's got a good jab. He's pretty light on his feet. He does a nice job of working it in and out of the range. He'll throw a combination, then step back out of range, and then reset. He, regardless of what the stat says, his wrestling offense is not very good at all. He has a decent takedown defense. It's a 71% takedown defense because of his athleticism, but the guy still gets subbed and gets knocked out and gets finished quite often. Andreas Gustafsson, this guy has crazy striking power and grappling skills. Very, very well-rounded. The guy's fought in all kinds of promotions in Europe, man. He's got a lot of experience. He finishes fights. He's a finisher. He finishes them by either knockout or submission. And he's got a background in Muay Thai and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. His striking is crisp. He's got powerful kicks, sharp elbows, and he knows how to keep his opponents at bay. He's also very proficient on the ground with a solid grappling game, and he's got very good ground and pound and good submission. So with all those skills, I got to go with Andreas Gustafsson to get the win here, man. I just think that he's going to be more explosive, more ferocious than Trevin Giles. And we've seen Trevin Giles get finished quite a few times. Now, as you can see, out of his 7 losses, 6 of them have come by finish. He's been knocked out 3 times, been subbed 3 times as well. And as you can see here, Andreas Gustafsson, well, the guy's a finisher. 8 knockouts, 2 submissions, only 1 decision win. I like Andreas Gustafsson. I think he comes in here and gets Trevin Giles to the ground, gives him a lot of frustration on the ground, and gets that ground and pound or knockout or even a submission on Trevin Giles. So I'm going to call Andreas Gustafsson to win here by knockout or submission. Really like this one for this guy, and this will get him into the UFC as a very good UFC debut for this guy here. All right, let's get to the next fight here. We got Kirk Hollabaugh against Jordan Levitt. Okay, so for this one here, man, I was a big fan of Kurt Hollabaugh, and in the last fight against Alex Hernandez, I remember this fight.
You were a fan of Hollabaugh.
I took Hollabaugh, and Andy O, you took Alex Hernandez. And I remember that it was between me and you, the battle, and you won. Alex Hernandez got the win by unanimous decision. I was pissed off. I thought that Kurt Hollabaugh fought like shit in that fight. I thought he didn't do well. He didn't use his grappling, his takedowns. He was very slow and sluggish out there. He didn't look good at all. So that turned me off a lot by Kurt Hollabaugh in his last fight. Prior to that, he beat Kanan Kruczewski, who I don't really think is that great. And then he lost to Trey Ogden. and then he beat Austin Hubbard before that.
I'll say right now that Austin Hubbard is the only guy of UFC caliber that he's beaten in his career.
Yeah, I got to agree.
Because I don't think the Khrushchevsky guy you just mentioned is actually UFC caliber.
Exactly, exactly. Also, he's getting up there in age. He's 38 years old. Okay, Jordan Levitt's 29 years old. Jordan Levitt just recently had a kid, by the way, so now he's a father now. And so those shenanigans that he used to do there with the twerking and the dancing and all that stuff, he has said that he was going to stop doing that now, and he's more serious and focused on his craft.
Good riddance.
Jordan Levitt is very, very good at grappling and wrestling and jiu-jitsu. He's got 6 submissions, 2 knockouts, and 3 decision wins. The last loss came to Chase Hooper, but we can't really get mad at Jordan Levitt for losing to Chase Hooper. We've seen how good Chase Hooper has been as of late. He's on fire. So he lost by submission to him. But prior to that, he beat Victor Martinez by knockout with crazy knees and punches. He also, so a little bit of MMA math here for you.
No.
Jordan Levitt beat Trey Ogden by split decision, but Kurt Hollabaugh lost by unanimous decision to Trey Ogden. So right there, some MMA math for you. It tells me that Jordan Levitt's the better fighter. I'm going with Jordan Levitt. Oh yeah, also he had a good fight against Paddy Pimblett there. He got submitted by Paddy Pimblett, but he did give him some problems in that fight. I like Jordan Levitt. I think he's better than Kurt Hollabaugh. He's younger, he's hungrier, and he's taking the fights more seriously. I think his ground game is better, his submission, jiu-jitsu game is better. So I'm going to go with Jordan Levitt to win here by submission or decision.
Yeah, Jordan Levitt, like he's, decent at the wrestling, the grappling. He's going to try to get his subs down there if they present itself. But against a quality guy that's good at the same thing, like a Paddy Pimblett, like you mentioned, or Chase Hooper, they're going to end up subbing him type of thing. Now, Kurt Hollabaugh is not that type of guy. To me, Kurt Hollabaugh is really like more of a backwoods dust-up kind of guy, right? That somehow found himself in the UFC in a couple of stints. Like he's tough, he's resourceful in there, but man, his age, he's up there. I think he's more in there just to get a few more paychecks at this stage. And yeah, as I mentioned, Austin Hubbard was his best win, and he actually ended up catching him in a sub. So leads me to believe that Austin Hubbard wasn't super careful there. So yeah, give me the younger guy, the guy that just should win this fight based on solid wrestling, safe control, and yeah, just have more endurance by the end of the fight than Kurt Hollabaugh, who's on the way out the door. It's obvious. So yeah, Levitt by decision or sub.
Nice, man. So, surprisingly, we're in agreement in all of the fights so far in the prelims. I like that, man. All right. So let's get to the main event of the prelims here. Guys, if you haven't already, please hit that like button and subscribe. It's good for the channel, helps promote us, and,
It's awesome for the channel, helps promote us in many, many ways.
So we got Alan Nascimento against Jafel Filo.
Okay, here, I'm going to go with the preacher. Jafel Filo, the pastor, the pastor, Jafel Filo here. On looking at this from the outside, I guess you could say Nascimento's kind of the better striker, but he wants to get you down there and he wants to work his way towards that sub. All his wins are by sub with the exception of one. But man, Jafel Filo is great at subs too. I like the fact that he's more aggressive with his takedowns. Usually, like this would lead me to question, not too aggressive there, I hope, because Nascimento has 6 subs and he's going to be waiting for that. But I think Filio knows that. Also, I think this is an observation point by me that actually stuck out a little bit. I think when he uses his body shots from distance, Jafel Filo is very accurate, and he should use them more. And he should use them in this fight to slow Nascimento down. If anyone was paying attention to the line of this fight, it was even. up until like for a couple weeks, up until like 2 days ago, and then Nascimento all of a sudden became a solid favorite, but the odds are creeping back to evening up again. Uh, Personally, I think it's a very even fight. I was in agreement with that line, but right now I'd grab Jeff El Filo at dog money if I could. So give me Filo by. You see, with two sub guys like this, it could be a a different outcome here. It's not necessarily going to be a sub, but I am going to call decision or sub for Jeff El Filo.
Man, I can't
Oh,
believe it, man.
yeah, you got to believe it because there's one other reason, bro, I forgot to mention, is that Alan Nascimento pulled out. This is going to be his first fight in like 2 years and a half, I think, okay? He was the reason three of his four fights got canceled, okay? Out of the cancellations he had recently, he was the reason for that fight to be canceled, including the fight he was supposed to have with Jafel Filo. So Jafel Filo is going to want a little get back for that one, although I'm pretty sure he forgave him because he's a pastor. But I'm pretty sure he didn't like putting up with all that weight cutting for no damn reason. So I think that's more the reason, more of a reason to pick Jafel Filo here.
Man, listen, I was hoping we were going to go 5 for 5 here, but unfortunately, I'm in
Still
disagreement,
good.
man. I can't go for Jeffel Filo here, unfortunately, man. I got to go with Alan Nascimento. Alan Nascimento is really, really good. Before he left the UFC, okay, before he was on that hiatus there for 2 years and 4 months, we got to remember how amazing he looked against Carlos Hernandez in that last fight that he had. He looked fantastic. Okay, he was out there bullying Carlos Hernandez, got him to the ground, fucked him up, got a rear naked choke submission win. The fight before that against Jake Hadley, he fucked him up. He fucked up Jake Hadley, and Jake Hadley was putting it on him.
Those guys are scrubs.
He
Come on.
fucked him up in that fight. The only loss that he had was his UFC debut, and it was against Tajir Ulanbekov, and it was by split decision. Okay, Jafel Filo, on the other hand, beating that bum of Ode Osborne, okay, beating Daniel Barres, who's really not that good either, and then he took that loss to Mohamed Mokayev, who subbed him pretty easily, got him down, and rear naked choked him.
Pretty easy. I like you throwing it pretty easily.
Well, in that fight, I remember Jafel Filo got Mohamed Mokayev in a weird leg lock there. Almost fucked up his leg, but Mohamed survived that somehow, but then he ended up getting the submission on him. But yeah, Jafel Filo, he did have a chance to get a...
Oh, was that the one where most people were going, Makayev should just give up here and save his career? And he
Yeah. Jafel Filo got him in a really,
yeah.
really serious leg lock there. Almost got that leg submission move.
That's right. I do remember that.
He couldn't lock it in, and Mokayev pulled his leg out of that, got out of there, escaped, and then ended up subbing him after. But he did look very good in that fight, Jafel Filo. I got to give it to him there. But again, the two fights after that that he won by submission, it was against bums as well. So both of these guys fighting bums. Now this is going to be a good fight to fight each other here to see who wins. I like Nascimento. He's 20 wins, 6 losses. These guys are pretty much almost the same height, except Allen's a couple of inches taller.
And three less losses.
He'll have an inch reach advantage too. Look, I think this fight's going to be close, man. I just like Alan Nascimento a little bit more. I think his jiu-jitsu game is a little bit better. He's a little bit slicker on the ground, and he's got some very slick submission moves. I think Jafel Filo, he gets tired in the later rounds. We've seen him get tired out and gets taken down fairly easy too. I mean, even Austin, what's his face, took him down. Not Odi Osborne, Daniel Barres and Mokayev were able to take down Jafel Filo, and I think that Alan Nascimento can take him down. Jafel Filo's takedown defense is not that great.
Neither is Nascimento's.
Sorry?
Neither is Nascimento's, I don't think, but really, I don't know if that.
Yeah, well, I think his offensive takedowns are good. And I think that he'll be able to get Jafel to the ground. I think he's also going to be the bigger guy in the cage. I think he's going to be bigger and a bit stronger than Jeff Filo. So I'm going to go with El Nascimento ever so slightly to win also by submission or decision. So the only disagreement we had in the entire prelims here. So there you have it, folks. Our early predictions for the prelims. Like and subscribe and stay tuned. Coming up next, the main card. Peace out. KAMMA. Let's get it.